Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, June 17th, 2018. Looking at the fire potential impacts expected over the next few days, we are looking at generally wet, isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms across much of the north through early next week. We will also see cooler temperatures across the entire region. The main concern will be dry and gusty winds expected across southern Nevada today, and then moving into southern and southeastern Utah on Monday. We're looking at some pretty strong winds today, and we'll look at the details of that in a bit. So over the past 24 hours, there's a fair amount of precipitation across the Great Basin. Generally, areas across the southwest were missed by this precipitation, as you can see from the map on the left. As far as lightning, the majority of that lightning activity was focused across the northern and eastern portions of the Great Basin. Fire activity continues to pick up across the area, as you can see from the fire activity map. Precipitation has been well below normal across the majority of the area over the past 7 days. This map on the left shows really how dry it has been over the past week. The exception to that is across portions of Idaho that have seen normal precipitation, but for the most part, the majority of the Great Basin has seen below normal precipitation. If we look back 30 days, which is this map on the right, things don't look much better for the Great Basin. Really, it's been very dry across the Great Basin over the past 30 days. With that dry weather, ERCs are rather high across the area. However, they have come down a bit in the past few days with some wetter weather that we have seen. You can see most stations are trending downwards over the past 3 days, as indicated by that downward pointing arrow. Live fuel moistures continue to drop across the area. You can see that all 3 of these sample sites show decreasing fuel moisture. However, we may see a little bit of an increase the next time the samples come in with the wetter weather that we have seen across portions of the southeast. Satellite this morning shows a low pressure system over Nevada, and this is the system that will bring us the gusty winds and cooler and wetter temperatures to the north. So, looking again at today, you can see this low pressure system in place over Nevada. Quite a bit of moisture associated with the system, with drier air across the south. With that in place, we have seen many of our northern PSAs turn green. Looking in a little more detail, we are expecting some wetter weather across the northern part of the Great Basin, as you can see from these greener colors covering the northern part of the map. And really, relative humidities will be quite high across much of the area. These are the minimum relative humidities for this afternoon. However, areas across the south will see humidities below 15-20%. As I mentioned earlier, we'll see very strong winds this afternoon. Really gusty winds are expected across southeastern Utah, portions of southern and eastern Nevada, with wind gusts of 40 and 45 miles an hour possible this afternoon. As we move into Monday, that low pressure system continues to make its way to the east. We will see unsettled weather continue across the northern part of the Great Basin associated with that low pressure system. Still dry air in place across the south, as you can see from the relative humidity forecast for Monday. Winds will be gusty again on Monday across the Great Basin. The wind speeds will be decreased from what we are expecting today. As we move into Tuesday, some of that moisture lingers across the north, though we start to see some drying across the south. Again, those relative humidities will continue to dry across the areas that have been a little more moist over the past few days, and we will see yet another day of rain and unsettled weather across the northern part of the Great Basin on Tuesday. Winds will be much lighter across the area on Tuesday, as you can see from the forecast map on the right. Over the next 3 days, precipitation will be focused across the northern part of the Great Basin, again with really dry conditions across the southern part of the Great Basin. As we move into Wednesday, that moisture continues to move off to the northeast. We'll continue to see that dry air remain in place across the southern part of the Great Basin. With that dry air in place, you can see some of the southern PSAs beginning to dry out again. That dry air remains in place on Thursday, and with high pressure, we'll begin to see a warming pattern. That will continue into Friday, with that dry air remaining in place across much of the area. Our PSAs continue to dry. And finally, on Saturday, it looks like a little system moves by through the north part of the Great Basin, but will keep drier conditions further south. Over the next 7 days, not much precipitation expected across the southern part of the Great Basin, though quite a bit is expected further north. Finally, in the 14-day outlook, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for above normal temperatures across the entire area, with below normal precipitation across portions of Nevada and Idaho, and the potential for above normal precipitation across far northeastern Utah. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thanks.